and treated and getting recognized. So
Okay.
please check it out. Please do. Speaking of that, going to bring in right now our next guest. Once again, this man was on our show last week. Great guy, friend of ours, known as Dangerous Dan Spivey, star in All Japan, WCW, and WWE. Don't forget, he's also was known as Waylon Mercy. Welcome, everybody. Dangerous Dan Spivey again. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for the warm welcome.
Hey, DD, welcome back, Shawty.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Like I never left.
There you go. That's what I like.
How you feeling today, Dan?
I'm good. You guys doing okay?
Yeah.
What part
Yeah,
of
we're
you guys
doing
in?
good, man.
What part of
Very
the
good.
country you on? Where?
With Dan,
What part of the country?
Go ahead.
good.
What part of the country you guys in?
Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore. Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, okay. That's right.
So fine. Now, I want to ask you, Dan, before we start back about the lawsuit and about your career, of course, was trending everywhere. WWE had their pay-per-view. Sunday night was Night of Champions. Of course, number one trending thing is where Sting got hurt, got injured by his neck. We wanted to ask you, since you're a veteran in the business, been in the business for a long time, wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts lately of a lot of the veteran wrestlers that are 50-plus years of age, such as Sting, such as The Undertaker, wrestling these matches and getting hurt? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm very surprised that, especially Taker. I mean, he's had a hip replacement done 2 or 3 years ago. His shoulder's been completely redone. I'm just shocked that he can still perform, and he's looked good in a couple of matches that he's had since the hip replacement and stuff. I mean, I'm just amazed that he could do it. Sting, I don't know if he's pretty lucky. I don't know of him having any injuries and stuff, being 56. But, 56 years old and trying to, perform like we did 20 years ago, it's just, unbelievable that he was able to do as much as he's done, and still look pretty good at doing it. I mean, it's just a matter of time that, it's not going to get any better, and these guys are just, they're going to get hurt, it's a young man's game, and, when you get to 50, you're not going to hold up like we used to do when we were kids. I mean, it's just not going to work, Sports is just, like football, and baseball, and being an entertainment athlete, it's just temporary employment. I mean, it's not going to last forever, and these guys are very fortunate to go as long as they have gone. I mean, I was out of the business at 44. And, I was done. I had a hip replacement. I had a knee replacement 6 months after, I retired. And, but football had a lot to do with it, too, with me. But, these guys that start in the business when they're in their 20s, I mean, you do it for 20 years, 15 or 20 years. I mean, it just, it adds up. I don't think that you're going to see guys, wrestle for 20 years anymore. I think those days are over. I don't think that, they're going to make it longer than 20 years. I think that, because of the style of wrestling and all the gymnastics that they're doing and all the crazy stuff, I just don't see it, anybody making it, in a long period of time.
Okay. Now, actually, put yourself in that position, Dan. Suppose you were Sting, or Undertaker, veteran in the business, a legend, the twilight of your career. You're going against someone half your age, and he wanted to put you in that move, that powerbomb. Would you agree to that move? Would you want to hit it, done it, or would you have went against it?
Wow, that's a tough one. I would say, because we all have big egos, and we'd hate to admit to somebody, that we couldn't do that anymore, And being in the main event, it's very important that you do those things because people come to see it, Everybody comes to see somebody's finish, or it's just, if you're going to be in that position, you're going to get paid, big money, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
And that's not because the promoters, the promoter don't even have to say anything. You talk about the match and what you want to do and stuff, and it's just being a competitor and being a proud person. Those guys are. You're talking about Taker and Sting. They're going to do it, because they want to put on a great show.
And we appreciate you answering that question. We did. NFC Game Boy?
Well, DD, before I start, let me say our friend Bob Starr, who you probably know and worked with many, many years ago, was just on the show. He wanted me to tell you, he sent his love to you and hoping that you're in fine spirits and everything. Bob Starr.
Well, that's very nice of him. Tell him thank you very much, and my life is doing good. I hope he's doing the same.
Yeah, good guy, man, good guy. On to my question. A lot of the business nowadays are with a lot of high flying. It's a lot of just spots. A lot of the workers don't really tell stories anymore, much like they did in the 80s and the 90s with the territories. In the next 5 years, do you see the pattern that it is now? Do you think that wrestling is going to a high road, or you think wrestling is going to a lower road?
Terry Funk called me today, and he called me and he wanted to know if I watched the show last night. I told him no, I don't watch it that often, and he was just telling me how terrible the show was, and I said, why? He said, none of it was wrestling. He said they just did a bunch of stupid stuff, and none of it was wrestling. He says they don't do wrestling anymore. And, I have to agree with Terry. The wrestling business is wrestling. That's what the business has been built on, is about wrestling and the way we used to do it. And, I've seen this happen. They get away from this stuff, and every 5 years they go back to, grabbing a hold and telling a story. I've seen it happen. It seems like we go through a 5-year period where, eventually they go back to doing the things that got them to the dance, and that's wrestling. All these big high spots and all the, it's going to wear out eventually, I think, and maybe it won't, but I think, they're going to have to get back to what has been, over the last 30 or 40 years. I just don't think that, that you can get a bunch of small guys in there. It's going to do 450s and all that. If you want to see gymnastics, go see gymnastics, or you want to see some tumbling, and wrestling is about telling stories. It's about good guy, bad guy stuff. I don't think it's about who can do the biggest high spot. Why do a big high spot that they do nowadays and then get up from it? If it was a finish, and then that's cool. That's some devastating thing. But when they get up on, maybe that thing wasn't that devastating. The guy got up. It's just it makes no sense. It's just, and this is just my opinion. It's but a lot of us old timers talk about this stuff, and we think that it's going to go back to wrestling, or either wrestling ain't going to be around anymore, because I just don't think that people are going to, I think they'll get tired of it after a while.
Well, DD, piggybacking off of my question, one storyline within the last few years that you was happen to catch or see, maybe with WWE, maybe with TNA or Ring of Honor, that you saw a wrestler or storyline that really kind of took you back, that really kind of flattered or made you feel like, it may be some hope out there? Was there any wrestler or storyline that you could recall that really caught your eye?
Gosh, I really can't. I remember one time I saw Steve Williams and Chris Jericho have a TV match. And I really enjoyed the match. It was about, working the arm, and guy getting out of it, and the guy going back to it, and selling, Gosh, people don't sell anymore. There's no, who in the business even can come close to emulating, Ricky Steamboat, or any of the great baby faces that we ever had in the business. by selling. You know, Ricky Steamboat was a tremendous babyface because he could sell his ass off. You don't have anybody doing that anymore because they don't work a whole, you know, the babyface works out of it, you know, and he looks like he's going to make, and then the heel does something to heel on him and, you know, back working his back again, you know. It's not done anymore. The last good match that I really enjoyed was, I saw two of them. It was Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in two of the WrestleManias. I thought they did a great job. You know, I think Taker did a great job because, you know, him being so much bigger than Shawn Michaels, it's really hard for a big guy to know when to sell and when not to sell. And I thought he did a great job with it. And it was just a good storyline, and I just thought that they did an outstanding job. You know, they're both two great workers, and they're the last of the Mohicans.
Thank you, Dee Dee.
Good movie, by the way. Before I turn over to Shannon, I want to bring in a question from a fan. I know, Dan, we spoke off air yesterday, because we have a couple of fans that's been hitting me up during the day, asking about the infamous video, a clip of you and Undertaker back when before he was Taker, in a match against the Road Warriors, and where you assaulted Road Warrior Hawk, the great late Warrior Hawk, with a chair. A lot of fans, younger fans, of course, want to know, could you shed some light on that match, and was that a work? Did you legitimately hit him with the chair, or was that a part of...
What did it look like?
I told him, little legit to me. That's what I told him.
Yeah, what happened is, you know, I was working back and forth to Japan, and Kevin Sullivan called me, and he told me about, you know, this young guy, 6'9", had a great look, but he needed some help. He was green. That was Sid. And they were going to do, you know, all this good stuff with me and Sid, you know, and going to push us, you know, if I was to, you know, come in and help him along and stuff. So I agreed to that. And so we teamed up. They built the, you know, the skyscraper gimmick. And, you know, I thought it was great. You know, I thought it could really do something. Sid was a big, impressive-looking guy, and me being the older guy, you know, could show him. And I thought we could make a good team, and we did. But they never did anything with us. You know, we never beat anybody. Never beat the Steiners. Never beat the Road Warriors. You know, it was always... And Sid got hurt, and then Mark came in, and Mark was even better. Mark had more wrestling ability than Sid. He didn't have the look, but he was another big guy, and plus he could wrestle, and he was, you know, willing to listen. And I thought that me and Mark would be even a better tag team, Skyscrapers. But they never did anything with me and Mark either, you know, after the promises. And the Road Warriors, you know, we were in a pay-per-view in Corpus Christi, and I just thought they ate Mark up. You know, it pissed me off the way they did it. They were going over that night, and I just thought that it was wrong of them to treat him like that, and it pissed me off. And so I grabbed the chair, and, you know, I started beating the hell out of him, you know, with the chair and stuff. And that's what happened. But the funny part of it was, you know, walking back to the dressing room, Mark says, Dan, they're going to be pissed. You wore them out with that chair. They're going to be so mad. And I said, what are we going to do? I said, don't worry about it, Mark. So we go up the stairs, get in the dressing room, and he said, Dan, what are we going to do? I said, don't worry about it, kid. We'll be okay. So I hear them coming up the stairs, and they're bitching that effing Spivey, you know, this, that, and they come in, open the door, I come in the dressing room. Hey, Dan, I had a great match. You know, thank you very much. No problem. So, that was that.
Wow. Wow. I remember watching that as a kid, and I was like, dang, I thought it was real as a kid because, you know, the Road Warriors didn't sell for nobody. and you, the first person I saw that knocked the Road Warriors and Hawk down, and he didn't get back up. I said, man, this must be a fight in real life. Even as a kid, I remember seeing that. So me and NSC Game Boy definitely remember that moment too, because I was growing up. It's like, hey, remember when Hawk got Spivey, man, slapping him in the head with that chair? Thank you for answering that. Shinblade?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I actually saw that movie, and that tape, and I gotta say that Dan Spivey was way, like, 20 years before Brody, you know, beating him beating on the Road Warriors like that. I was I saw it first. I was laughing. I was like, damn, that's for real. So like I said, Road Warriors never jobbed to anybody. Plus, Vern Gagne in AWA, which is a famous story. I did want to talk about this lawsuit because there were many questions that people had asked that we never got into it because we were all over the place.
Yeah.
And one of the postings that were between you and BJH, to say a nickname, and I want to take this quote because it's true words. For every guy that would walk out, there would be 10 guys that would cross the picket line and work for free, just say they work for WWE. And I had a couple people that actually didn't believe it or said who would do that would be actual fools. But now you got people in Tough Enough and selling themselves in New Show Breaking Ground to do that. So I wanted to get your words about that quote.
Yeah, I said that. I really did, and I really do believe that. I mean, if said that they had a walkout and they had ticket lines at the WWE, and all these guys that have been working at the indies and stuff, if they had an opportunity, I think they would cross the ticket line just to say they work for the WWE, just to be seen on Raw. I mean, I really believe that. I believe that anybody's job, Vince can make a star out of anybody with TV. He has the power to do that. And, and back in my day, working for the WWE was the place to go. That was a place to go to get noticed. That was a place to go and make a lot of money. I mean, these guys were making, more money than the guys in these territories. A guy working for Vince underneath would make more in a week than the top guy in a territory, for the whole month. So, it was an honor to work there. And, there's a lot of guys that never got the chance to work there were very disappointed, And I just really believe that. If they went on strike tomorrow, there'd be 10 guys, there'd be 100 guys waiting to get in there to go to work.
Exactly.
And that's my opinion, of course, but I really believe that.
Actually, that's not an opinion. That's a fact.
Yeah, I agree.
Wait on Mercy says so.
There you go.
Counselor.
Not sorry to cut anybody off, but did anybody see the video of Billy Jack Haynes challenging Stone Cold?
That was funny, wasn't it? With the wig? He had the wig on?
It was train wreck funny. I couldn't laugh at it. I thought it was just, really pathetic.
It was, that was just shows you that the guy is, he's not all there. I think the guy is still using drugs, in my opinion. I think he's got a lot of issues and he needs some help. Him, getting on there ranting and raving about Stone Cold Steve Austin, about something that happened to Steve years ago, a domestic violence thing, and Billy's going to be this big savior, because Steve had domestic violence, might have hit a woman, whatever happened, about that, and he's going to put up $1 million and fight, Stone Cold Steve Austin for $1 million, is ridiculous. The guy... he says that he wants to have UFC rules, but he only wants 1-minute rounds and takedowns. You can't do any takedowns or anything. That sounds like a boxing match to me. I mean, the guy, he wants Dana White to promote it, and the guy couldn't pass a physical, first of all. I hear he has hepatitis C or something. He's probably still on drugs, and where's the guy going to get $1 million? He doesn't even have any teeth. I think if he's got some money, he needs to go buy him some dentures.
How is Dana White going to sell something of a UFC fight with no takedowns in 1-minute rounds? I mean, a Ronda Rousey fight sells more than that, and that's like 7-8 seconds.
I know it. He also challenged me to the same deal. He didn't do a video, thank God. But he did challenge me the same thing. The guy is just, I think we all have given him way too much, time, and, he's not relevant to and this is the only thing that he's got in his life is doing these little rants and stuff, and he's getting a little bit of attention from it. I think that's all he wants, because the lawsuit is just really stupid. I mean, the guy worked for Vince for less than 2 years. He was here for a coffee break. And, he wants, millions of dollars because everything that's wrong with him happened because he worked at the WWE. What about, he worked in the business, I think, 14 years. And what about all the other places he worked? He worked, Florida and Portland. And he worked for WCW and other places. I mean, he worked for Vince for less than 2 years. And he wants Vince to pay for whatever's wrong with him. It's just really stupid.
What are your thoughts of Brian Clark? And I know at some point Brian Clark, who people remember him as Adam Bomb in WWE back then, and I guess he kind of sided with Billy Jack Haynes. What were your thoughts on that, Dan?
Oh, gosh. He made it really personal, called me some names and stuff. And it doesn't matter, what he says, because, if he's fighting with Billy, I don't know. He wasn't there. He only worked for Vince for about 2 years also. I don't know why these guys feel like, that Vince is the guy that owes them money. When we got into wrestling, all of us knew what we were getting into. We knew there was no insurance. We knew if we got hurt and didn't work, we didn't get paid. We knew there wasn't a retirement plan, no 409s or whatever, to retire, no hospitalization, none of that stuff. We had to pay our own taxes. All those things before you get in, but we still wanted to do it. I did, because I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be a star. I wanted to make money. I wanted everybody to know me, and that's the reason I did it, because I loved it. I was a mark when I got into the business, and, that's why I got into it, because I wanted to do it. And no one forced me to take steroids. No one forced me to take painkillers, and no one forced me to work when I was hurt. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid, so I worked hard, and, they said that there's concussions and all this. There was a guy, Rene Dupree, on the internet the other day, said he worked for Vince and had 25 concussions. Man, If you have 25 concussions, you need to get out of the business because you don't know how to work. That's ridiculous. No one has 25 concussions. I was in the business 12, 14, something like that. I never had a concussion. Never. I worked in Japan for 8 years and never had a concussion. We hit each other with chairs a lot over there. And, I don't know anybody that was in my network or any of the guys that I worked with had concussions. I don't know of them, don't remember them. And so, these guys that said they had concussions, they had no, proof of it. They didn't get it documented. They didn't go to the doctor, they said. It's all frivolous, bogus bullshit.
Why do you think, and once again, the theory here is that these guys only worked in WWE for a few years. Brian Clark was in WWE for about a blink of an eye, a couple years. Billy Jack Haynes was in there for about a sneeze, couple years. Rene Dupree, who somebody else who tried to charge us money to come onto the show. He started off at the age of 18 or 19. He was a kid, was in WWE for about a wiggle of a toe, couple years. And it seems like he's. How do you, if you can explain to us, how do you learn how to work? Because you see a lot of these younger talents get all of these concussions. And like you said, you wrestled in Japan, the strong style, getting hit in the head with chairs and being in the ring with Hanson and Steve Williams and Terry Gordy and all the legends of Japan and Muda and working in WCW and you never got a concussion at all. And if anybody can say they will have concussions, could be you, because you got the people you worked against that are known for being snug. Rene Dupree or some of the other people were not demeaning anything, but of course here in the States have more of a softer style in Japan. 25 concussions. So what do you think the reasoning for that is, for him having that many concussions, or a lot of these younger workers having all this head trauma?
Man, it never happened. If someone had a guy had 25 concussions, like I said, he needs to find another job because he doesn't know how to take bumps and he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, no one has 25 concussions. They just don't because they would be a vegetable. You know, I've seen people in the NFL with concussions and have problems. I mean, and the guy, Dupree, I know he's still working because I know a young kid that worked with him up in Canada a few weeks ago, you know, and the guy is still working, you know, and he says he has all these problems and stuff. Well, he's still in the business and he's still, you know, working in Canada for someone. You know, these guys are making up bullshit. It's just,
exactly.
You know, who in this lawsuit? Do you know anybody that's on this lawsuit? I only know about 6 or 7 that I can find. You know, my wife has been hunting on the internet trying to find out who all's on it. Billy says he has 70 people involved in this class action lawsuit, and I can't find but about 6 or 7. You know, on the lawsuit is they said Blackjack Mulligan's involved. Now he is a true, you know, main event guy back in the day, especially for Vince Senior. But who else on that lawsuit is above a mid-card guy? Do y'all know of anybody who's above a mid-card guy and not involved in this lawsuit? I don't.
So, you just Billy Jack King and Bron Clark?
I thought Blackjack Mulligan wasn't a part of that.
No, Blackjack is a part of it. I know because he wrote me some nasty letters. He says he's a part of it, you know. And I believe he is, or he wouldn't be writing me nasty messages. But, you know, it's I don't know of anybody. He mentioned Tommy, Tom Dynamite Kid. Now, I haven't spoke to Tommy personally, but Tommy is a very good friend of mine. I have spoke to his brother on Facebook. He says Tommy has no idea what I'm talking about. He does nothing. He wouldn't want to know anything because he wouldn't do it. But by Billy saying that he's going to, you know, Tommy was involved, it's called Tommy Problems because Tommy is, you know, he's under the care of the kingdom. He's on some kind of, you know, like welfare or something. He's getting, you know, taken care of by the country. And, you know, by Billy saying this, you know, Vince countered to Tommy and it's caused him a bunch of problems, and Tommy doesn't even know anything about this and being involved in it. Billy's caused him a lot of problems with it. You know?
Well, I will say that one of our friends of the show, Big Bill, he's not part of it. He publicly said that on Facebook, like, you know, stop bugging me about this lawsuit because he has nothing to do with it. And honestly, with the people who having like little what the text say wiggle up toes, stay in WWE, the only person I can actually believe, or one of the few people I can actually believe to sue Vince McMahon, and he really wouldn't because he works for him, is Lex Luger.
I talked to Lex 2 weeks ago about this. He mentioned Luger's name, and was also another one he mentioned.
Yeah.
I called Lex, and I talked to him, and Lex said, Dan, I don't even know what you're talking about. He said, and so I told him about what was going on, and he said, I'm not a part of that, or do I want to be a part of that? So, you know, I'm asking you guys talk to a lot of people all the time. Who's the 70 guys involved in this lawsuit?
We don't know.
I'm wondering the same thing because we didn't check.
I know only 3 or 4, so that's it.
I heard Coco Beware. Coco Beware, I heard, was involved. I also heard, we know Brian Clark, Blackjack Mulligan, and that's about it on my list.
Blackjack Mulligan, too?
It's starting to look like the Florida ballot from the Gore election.
Vito LaGrassa. Y'all know Vito LaGrassa? Ryan Sakota, Russ McCullen, Evan Singleton, Billy Jack Hayes, Luther Reigns, Matt Bourne, Coco Beware, Ivan Koloff, and Rene Dupree and Brian Clark. That's all I can find on the internet.
Isn't Matt Bourne dead?
Yeah.
Isn't Matt Bourne dead?
His family's involved in it.
Oh.
And once again, the whole consensus is all of these guys was in the WWE for wiggle with a toe and never was in the main event. You got Rene Dupree, Luther Reigns was there for about a couple of years.
About 5 months.
Yeah, a couple months. Say, send our respects to Matt Bourne. He was there as the original Doink for a few years. So, like you said, the general consensus is all of these guys were not main event guys. They weren't in WWE.
Yeah, where are the Harley Races? Where's the Terry Funk and Dory Funks? Where's the Briscoes? Where's Johnny Valentine, Greg Valentine, or Brutus, or there's nobody. These guys are. And I don't know where it's 70. I don't know the 70. I think it's all bullshit because I can't find any other names other than this.
Well,
Maybe.
Mr. Dan Spivey, I know the lawsuit is bullshit because I won't take a part of it. I will keep wrestling forever. So
that's not bad.
Thank you. You ex-fucking dog, you.
Well.
That was pretty good. I like that.
Thank you. I do a lot, so.
But maybe at the end of the day, maybe all Billy Jacks need is a hug, Dan. Maybe that's
well, hey, I said this, and I'll say it on your show too. That I'm in, as we talked last week, that I'm involved in the drug and rehab of helping people, with drugs and alcohol problems. And if Billy was to ask me for help, I would get him help. I would help him, and I would also talk to Vince, as people that run his rehab stuff, and I would talk to them, seeing if they would help him. He needs help. He's sick. And, I'm offering my hand to help him if he was to call me and ask me, "Dan, I need help," I'd give it a shot.
Look, so I guess in Billy Jacks, I know it's Billy Jack Haynes. You talking about Billy Jacks? Maybe Billy Jacks.
Billy Wang.
I guess Billy Wang. It seemed like I guess Sting and Taker can sue Vince and WWE because Taker got a concussion at Mania 2 years ago. Sting just hurt his neck, so I guess they should be on the lawsuit too. But now they probably won't because they actually been around wrestling for more than a few years and been in the main event. So. Pretty much said.
Yeah, well, he also came out and said that Roddy Piper died because Vince called him to die. He said that Roddy got fired off of Podcast One, and because Stone Cold Steve Austin went to Vince and had him fired. It's not true. That's all bullshit. Vince has nothing to do with Podcast One. He has nothing to do with any of that situation. And it just, the whole story, Billy Jack's just trying to be relevant, in life, and he comes up with these outrageous comments and statements, and just, he's just, the bad thing is all these guys that are following him on this lawsuit are going to be, I think they're going to be gravely, disappointed.
Well, it burnt me up, like I told you last week privately, that when BJH came out and said that Vince got Roddy Piper fired, and then he ultimately said Vince McMahon got killed Roddy Piper, it burnt me up because it was like, how sick of an individual can you be just to make yourself relevant in business? Now, it don't make any sense, Dan.
Yeah, I don't even think him and Piper, talked. I thought there was heat between both of them, and he even says in some of his posts and stuff that me and Roddy, couldn't talk to each other in public, for some reason. It's on these big cloak and dagger things that they had this secret relationship that nobody can know about. That's real convenient for you to say that, now that Roddy's not here to back you up because, it's just some more of his BS. It's really sad. To claim that you're friends with a man who's no longer with us, it's just really bad.
We just got a text from a fan. It said, "Hello guys, my name is ironically Dan. Just ran across a video where Honky Tonk Man talked about being in a fight with Mr. Spivey. Could you please shed light? Thank you."
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
I never got
that
to know what he's talking. I know what he's talking about. I didn't get in the fight with Honky Tonk. Honky Tonk's talking about me how I got my name, Dangerous Dan.
Oh, okay.
It had to do with me beating up Adrian Adonis in the dressing room. I'm surprised you guys don't know that story.
I've heard a tiny bit of it, but we would love for you to shed light on it since you're the one that partaked in the butt whipping.
And when I broke into the business, I was working in Charlotte, and I had become good friends with Ricky Steamboat. Ricky went to the WWE, and I'd only been in the business about a year and a half, and Ricky, Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo were working together as the U.S. Express. Well, Barry had quit, and so Ricky went to George Scott, who was the booker for Vince back then, and told him about me, and I got a big break, and got asked to come to work at the WWE, be Rotundo's partner to take Barry's place on the U.S. Express. It was a huge break for me, and so I went there and worked, and Rotundo had quit, and went to Charlotte, a few months down the road after I was there. And so I was in, just working in singles matches. And Adrian Adonis came out with this new gimmick, something like Gorgeous George, the K gimmick stuff with the boa and all that stuff around, makeup and all this. And they were pushing him to work for Hogan and make the rounds with Hogan, and so they were getting him ready. So they were feeding him a lot of underneath guys, young guys, and making him look strong and stuff. And I guess Adrian started believing his own hype and stuff. And Adrian had a reputation of being a real tough, badass guy, and he was taking advantage of the younger guys and really being stiff with them, cussing them, and just being a real jackass, And so we were in Toronto, and I had to work with Adrian, and he did the same crap to me, And after the match, I was pissed. I was going to kick his ass there, and Dynamite and Davey Boy and some of the other guys, got me out of the Toronto building and, grabbed my bags and stuff and got me out to the hotel. So the next day we were in Flint, Michigan. It was sold out, 10,000 people. It was packed. First time the WWE had been in Flint. And George Steele was supposed to work with Adrian. And George ended up in the hospital. Something happened to him before the matches, and he was sick or something. And so Pat Patterson came in, who was the agent, and says, Dan, you're working with Adrian tonight in the main event. I said, I don't like Adrian. I'm not working with him. So Pat leaves, and he goes to Adrian, and he says, he comes back, and he says, Adrian don't want to work with you either. But Vince says y'all are working together. So I said, okay. So anyway, the match, go out to the ring. I was the first one in the ring. And Adrian, he was being managed by Jimmy Hart. He comes to the ring, and he's just, he's just a close individual. And we started the match, and he started being real stiff. He started kicking me really hard. His punches, he's just taking advantage of me. He went to put the sleeper on me. I was sitting on my ass, and he went to put the sleeper on me, and I just knew he was going to try and choke me out. So I halfway blocked it, and sure enough, he tried to cinch down on it. I came up out of that thing. I got him on the ropes, and I just started beating him up, and I knocked him out, and I covered him. The rest of it, Dan, this ain't the finish. I said, I changed it, not going over. I said, DQ me, so the guy DQs me. So I go back in the dressing room, and I remember Jimmy Brunzell running around, Dan killed Adrian. So a little bit later, Adrian comes walking through the door, and I grabbed the chair, and I tried to hit him with the chair, and, all the boys grabbed me, took the chair away, and so they're holding me, and Junkyard Dog holds a hold of me like he's really holding me. He said, here he comes, Dan, here he comes. And so Adrian tries to leg dive me, and I uppercut him. I just split his face wide open. And so he gets up, and he's still talking shit, and he tries to leg dive me again, and Dog's still holding me. And so right then, Dog said, here he comes, and he lets go of me. I uppercut him again and knocked him out. And Randy Savage took me to Liz in his dressing room and got me eyes. My hands were all messed up, and you know, Randy told me, whatever you do, don't miss the show tomorrow. And so I understand Adrian had over 200 stitches put in his face. And so I had to call Vince the next day. I had a message to call Vince. And I called Vince, and he says, Dan, I can't have you beating up my talent. I said, Vince, he wasn't very talented. And, don't be a smart ass, Dan. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, sir, I do. I said, Dan, don't beat anybody else up. I'll let you go. I said, okay. So I go to Allentown, and Adrian comes in. He's got dressed up, looks like he's a mummy, you know, all wrapped up and stuff. And he starts talking shit again, you know. And Don Morocco says, Adrian, if I was you, just sit down and shut the F up. You know, so that was that. That's the story of me and Adrian.
Wow. And do you want to say, I did watch that video, and Honky Tonk Man did give you accolades and said, in quotations, Danny Spivey, you know, is not the guy you want to mess with, end quote. So.
The thing about that is, you know, I come in there, no one knows anything about me, you know. I told everybody I was like 27. I was really 34 or 35 years old. You know, I looked young, you know, and no one knew anything. When I went in there, I kept my mouth shut, you know, because I was just young in the business, and, you know, I just knew, you know, you just keep your mouth shut and pay attention, you know. And Adrian didn't know I already lived 2 lifetimes, you know. He had no idea of my background, where I came from, anything. And so, you know, he had no idea that, you know, what he was getting himself into. You know, just that's what happens to a bully, you know. And he was a bully.
You said, speaking of tough guys in the ring, tell us some of the toughest men you've been in the ring with. That's legit tough. That you just love to work with.
I think Steve Austin, Steve Williams, Doc, who's a legitimate badass. You know, he was a stud. He really was. I think Tenryu over in Japan. Tenryu was the stud. Of course, I only worked with Brody one time. I worked with him the day before he died. You know, I just had a great match with him, and the one time I met him, and you know, I could tell he was a tough guy, and I heard a lot of stories about him. But those guys, and Stan is a tough guy. Stan Hansen, of course, you know, and those are the guys that come to mind right off the top of my head. I think Terry Funk is the craziest guy I know, and tough guy. You know, he was my mentor, and I just love that guy, Terry Funk.
Thank you.
I have a question I wanted to ask you, DD. I know a lot of guys in the indies, independents. Some guys they are on some type of pills. Some of them juice up. You know, they on the juice. You know, I watched their matches. They gassed the first 30 seconds of the match. You know, they trying to break through, but they already starting down that road. By you've been there, conquered it, and now out there helping other guys, what advice can you give to these young guys who feel like, you know, that's not going to be me, and, you know, I'm too smart for that, or I'm too big for that, or anything? What advice can you give to these guys who's taking these drugs, who's hooked on these pills, who's taking the juice and whatever, and trying to make through?
Well, first of all, you know, it's not like back in my day. You know, Vince has a wellness program now, and it's pretty strictly run. I know there's guys that I would say, you know, I think they're on the juice, you know, that are working there now, and the main event guys, but you know, I know for everybody else, other than a few handful, you know, you need to learn how to work, because you can't go all gassed up working for Vince. I mean, if you go to his training facility and you go through their program, you know, before you go to the main roster, you can't be taking steroids. You can't be taking pills. I had a cousin who won maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Andy Levine. He was my cousin who won Tough Enough. And they kicked him out for using steroids. He won Tough Enough, and he was working at the Performance Center, and the dumbass took steroids and didn't ask me about it or anything. And so they suspended him for 6 weeks. Then about 3 months later, he got busted again, and they kicked him out. And he was a big guy. He was an ex-football player, 6'3", 6'4", 290, very agile, ex-football player. Some little school, but it was a little school, but he's still a player, and he had to be very coordinated. He wasn't tough enough, and he just blew it. So I know it's for real. That their wellness program. So what good is it to get all jacked up and be huge and everything, and you go there, they're not going to take you. You got to learn how to work. If you want to make it and work for Vince, you got to have abs. You need to be ripped, because the big guys right now aren't the guys. There's a couple, but really, it's all the guys who look good. Except for Bray. God bless him. For us heavy guys. So anyway, it's foolish to take any kind of supplements that are illegal, because you're not going to make it. You're not going to get through the front door.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you for that. Speaking of Bray, Dan, what are your thoughts on Bray Wyatt and the great character that he is?
Oh man, I'm honored that he's doing the character. I guess I didn't tell you guys, but when me and his dad are ex-tag team partners, Mike Rotundo, and is Bray's dad. And so when his name is Wyndham, when Wyndham was training, he came to me and said, "I want to do the character like you did Waylon Mercy." I said, "Well, man, do it." He said, "Would you mind?" I said, "No, I'd be honored to do it." So we talked about it, and I gave him some ideas, and he developed this character, and we talked. And I'm really proud of him. I think he's done a great job. His promos are excellent. He's a little green, but he's come a long ways, and he's going to get better. And I think he's got a great deal going. My Facebook page, people, want to say, "You stole your gimmick," and no, man, he didn't steal it. He has my blessing, and I hope down the road that someone will notice the fact that I think me and him could do some really good things with that, as Uncle Wyatt or Uncle Mercy or Uncle Waylon or something, or whatever. I think that we could. We talked about it. We have some good ideas. Maybe someday down the road they'll use them.
I like that name, Uncle Mercy.
Nice.
I like that.
I actually talked to him last week about this, and he told me about Uncle Mercy. And the idea that I pitched to him was he should do like a return on Raw, like he's actually part of the Wyatt family, like someone that Bray looked up to when he was a kid.
You told Bray that?
No. Him and you and I talked. I don't have Bray's number. I wish I did.
Yeah, I just think that he could really do something, but I understand that they want him to be on his own, and they might not want him associated because he wants to be his own person. But I think that might happen. I think it would be great. I don't know why they wouldn't. But maybe. I'm hoping, because I would love to do it. It's not. I just love doing that character. It's like unfinished business, because I just, there's so many people that ask me about it, they're just really interested in Waylon Mercy. It's just unbelievable, all the responses that I get from it. And all the people that ask me for autographed pictures and, ask me about the character. It really is. I left abruptly. I really didn't give the character a chance because I got mad and I just quit. Everybody thought that I had gotten hurt, and that wasn't the case. I was beat up. I was having issues with pain, my back, not my back, but my hip and my knee, and I just quit.
Well, also there was a little note that I noticed from the Waylon Mercy character, and you inspired another character in the future by the name of Festus, where when the bell rang, you were a crazy madman in the ring, and then when the bell rang again, you were calm.
That was Waylon Mercy.
Yes, it was.
Same deal.
Right.
Yeah, it's all I got the idea from the movie Kate, and I got watching Robert De Niro and watching the movie. I just wanted to be like a Southern gentleman, just act like everything was good, and then just snap, and so I would do it. It's just a fun character for me to do because I'm from the South and I knew a lot of people like Waylon Mercy. So, it was fun for me because all my career I had always been myself, and now I had an opportunity to be someone different. So I enjoyed doing it.
You know what? They should put Waylon Mercy on a video game, one of them WWE games.
Don't worry about the WWE love stealing our ideas and stuff from the last year or so. So I'm pretty sure another 2-3 months, somebody from WWE will contact you and they just came up with this great idea that we should bring Waylon Mercy because fans will love him and Wyatt and everything. Yeah, they just.
Yeah, you guys need
we know y'all
campaign for me to bring back Waylon Mercy.
Yeah, you should hashtag that. Start a campaign to get you back in the WWE, Hall of Fame or something. You can be in WrestleMania or something because clearly they just love stealing ideas and stuff.
I'm all for it, guys.
There you go.
Shout out to that.
Make it happen.
Shout out to them picnic vignettes that Waylon Mercy used to do. Remember those? And in the tree, talking to the tree.
Waylon Mercy.
Yeah, I killed that. Unfortunately, they were doing the first one, I think it was, and this caterpillar bug fell on my arm, and I smashed it. That got over good. It was just something that happened. Back in the day, you could do things like that. All that, now they have people who write, the promos and stuff. It's just unbelievable. And back then, when the red light come on, the camera came on. You just had to perform and just wing it. Whatever comes to your head, and and then that bug just fell on my arm out of the tree. I just squashed it, and people just thought that was great.
Well, we thank you much for that, Waylon Mercy, Dan, Spivey, for your time. Real quick, give you a plug party. Go ahead again. Talk about your great business that we've been plugging for a while and how to contact you.
Yeah, my name of my company is called Sober Choice. You can reach me at Sober Choice, area code 813-713-9216. You can look at my website is soberchoice.com. And also my wife has a book out that's called Believe in Me, and it's about inspiration and quotes for kids. And it's really a cool book. If you have young kids, you need to buy one because Waylon needs money. Lives are gonna play in Waylon Mercy's hand. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean there, Waylon.
Well, Dan, thanks a lot, man, for coming through. Thanks again for blessing us with your time and everything. You've been a great guest, as always, man.
You guys do a great job. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And, you can call me anytime. If I can do anything, let me know. I think y'all do a great job.
Thank you, man.
Thank you
for spreading the word. We greatly appreciate it, man.
All right.
Have a great day,
Dan. Stay in touch, guys. Bye-bye.
We will.
All right, bro.
Thank you. Everybody, that was Dan Spivey, was on his Waylon Mercy. We got 15 seconds real quick. Thank everybody for calling. Thank you, Bobby Starr, for calling. Deliver Season for calling in, telling us a great stories and supporting us. Thank you, Dan Spivey and Waylon Mercy and the Picnic Table and everybody for supporting us as well. Check us back next week, same time, same place, 7 o'clock p.m.
Yeah.
Thank you much. We'll have Sandy Diaz, bring it down and go back to my show next week. Talk to you then.
Either let the future happen to you or make your future happen. Go headstrong, head first, head up. Don't just think about your future, own it. You have a dream. Now make it a reality. Move forward with a degree that can help you achieve your next success, however you may define it. At Strayer University, we offer master's degrees in a wide range of in-demand concentrations. including management, accounting, information systems, and both MBA and executive MBA programs. With classes online and on campus, students have trusted us for career-focused higher education for over 120 years. Own your future. The time is now. The time is yours. Get started today at strayer.edu. Strayer University is certified to operate by Chef.
Strayer University has 9 campuses in the state of Georgia, including the Morrow campus at 3000 Corporate Center Drive, Suite 100 in Morrow, Georgia. Own your future and learn how to get your degree, master's or bachelor's on campus and online at strayer.edu.